Story Part 1: The Suspicious Delivery. It was a quiet night, around 11 p.m., as I was on my way to deliver an order from the sandwich shop where I worked. Music played softly in my car as I navigated through the familiar streets, going through the motions of another routine delivery. Approaching the neighborhood, I stopped at a red light. The intersection was empty, yet the light remained red for what felt like an unusually long time. As I waited, a black car pulled up beside me. I glanced over briefly, avoiding direct eye contact. The car's windows were heavily tinted, more than what is legally allowed. I couldn't see anything inside. The vehicle itself was black, possibly an old Toyota, but I couldn't be certain. An uneasy feeling settled over me. Perhaps it was just the isolation of the moment, but something felt off. Eventually, the light turned green, and I proceeded. However, I noticed the black car remained stationary at the intersection. I found it odd but dismissed it as I continued toward the delivery address. The destination was a row of about 10 houses leading to a dead end, not quite a neighborhood, more like a secluded street. Strangely, none of the houses had their lights on. They appeared well maintained, not abandoned, yet eerily dark. I parked near the second to last house, the one listed for the delivery. Carrying the order, I approached the front door, hoping to see some light inside. But the house was completely dark. Reluctantly, I knocked. The door creaked open slightly, as if it hadn't been properly closed. Sandwich delivery. Anyone home? I called out. Silence. No response, no sounds from within. Curious, I pushed the door open a bit more. Inside, I saw an empty hallway and a bare room, no furniture, no decorations, not even a picture on the wall. Dust began to drift through the doorway. I quickly shut the door and stepped back, unsettled. As I returned to my car, I noticed a small black car parked a few houses back. Its headlights were off, and it hadn't been there when I arrived. The heavily tinted windows confirmed it was the same car from the intersection. A chill ran down my spine. This couldn't be a coincidence. I hurried toward my car, but as I neared, I caught a movement reflected in the window. Something or someone was in the back seat. I froze. Then, without thinking, I turned and ran back to the house. As I did, the back door of my car swung open, and a man dressed in black emerged. He didn't chase me, instead, he ran to his car and drove off. Heart pounding, I called 911 from the porch. The police arrived and informed me that the street was unoccupied, the homes were new builds, not yet inhabited. They mentioned similar reports in the past week, a man placing fake delivery orders to lure drivers. What happened to me was the closest call yet. The man had hidden in my car, waiting for me to return. Thankfully, I noticed in time. Unfortunately, they hadn't caught him. Story Part 2: The Unwelcome Visitor. This incident occurred last December. A good friend of mine was going on a family trip for a week and asked if I could house sit. Being close friends, this wasn't unusual, I'd done the same for them the previous year. Their home had several fish tanks and numerous houseplants that required care. In exchange, I got to stay in a spacious house, a welcome change from my small apartment. I arrived a few hours before they left to get a refresher on the routine. After they departed, I settled in, unpacked, and around 6 p.m., went out to pick up some dinner. I returned, ate in the living room, and watched TV. About 30 minutes later, there was a knock at the door. I paused the show and went to see who it was. A man in his 30s stood there, not wearing any uniform, just a regular guy. I cracked the door open and asked what he needed. He seemed surprised to see me but quickly asked if my friend was home, using his name. Assuming he was an acquaintance, I told him my friend wasn't home and he'd need to come back later. He nodded and walked away without further questions. I found it odd but not alarming. Still, I texted my friend to inform him. He called back, confused, saying he didn't know anyone matching that description. Later that evening, around 9 p.m., I began setting up the couch for bed. As I arranged the blankets, there was another knock. I approached the door and saw the same man outside. This time, I didn't open it. "Hey, what do you need?" "Can you come back another day?" I called through the door. He stood silently for a moment, then walked away. I ensured the door was locked and returned to the couch, uneasy. I considered calling the police but hesitated, thinking it might be an overreaction. To stay alert, I remained on my phone, occasionally glancing out the window. After about 2 hours, fatigue set in. I did a final check outside, nothing unusual, then closed the curtains and prepared for bed. I brushed my teeth and took a quick shower. Less than 10 minutes later, I returned downstairs, turning off the lights. Before lying down, I decided on one last window check. Everything seemed normal until I noticed the front door lock was turned sideways, unlocked. I was certain I'd locked it earlier. Panic surged. I moved to grab my phone from the end table, but it was gone. Someone had taken it. Without hesitation, I grabbed my keys and fled the house, using my car's emergency system to call 911. I parked down the street and waited. Police arrived and searched the home. They found the man from earlier sitting silently in a spare bedroom. He had a forged key matching the front door, but no one knew how he obtained it. My friend insisted he didn't know the man, but something felt off. We haven't spoken much since. I often wonder what might have happened if I hadn't noticed the unlocked door. Story Part 3: The Intruder at Home. It was a typical night after work. I got home around 10 p.m., exhausted but ready to unwind with some gaming. My friends had early shifts the next day, so I played solo. A few hours in, I heard a loud knock. I removed my headphones and listened, but everything was quiet. Assuming it was a one-off noise, I checked the front door, no one was there. I returned to my game, but about 30 minutes later, I heard a distinct click, like a door closing. Alarmed, I paused and looked around. The house was silent. I did a quick walkthrough, checking for anything unusual. The house, being older, often made noises, so I attributed it to settling wood and resumed gaming. Minutes later, a shadow moved across my computer screen. I spun around, heart racing. My desk faced a hallway leading to 3 rooms, with the front door at the end. The shadow had moved from the left side of the hallway to the right, toward my bedroom.